Hello, hello, and welcome back to our Flower Power Portfolio Challenge. In today's lesson, we are going to actually be creating our hero illustration, which is kind of the star of the show. So far, we have gone over the entire design brief from start to finish, and we have created our thumbnail sketches. Oftentimes, whenever you are working with a client, before you go to the effort of completing a piece of artwork from start to finish, a client wants to see pencil sketches to get an idea for where you're going. Because if they object to anything that you're creating, you would like to know this now as opposed to later when you've put all that effort into creating a finished work of art. Now you get to decide what medium you want to work in. I'm going to work on my iPad in the Procreate app to create my illustrations, but you can create by hand, you can use Adobe Illustrator, you can use whatever program makes sense for you. I am going to go ahead and open up my Procreate app. And the first thing I'm going to do is set up my canvas. So my canvas is going to be an 8 by 8 inch canvas, just like the design brief instructed, and it's going to be 300 DPI. Before I hit create and finish my canvas, I'm going to check my color setting to make sure that it is at CMYK. Now CMYK is a color profile that is used whenever you are making physical prints of something, not just digital. So once we have our color profile selected, we can create the canvas. In the design brief, it gave us the dimensions that we need to work at, which we just set up, but it also gave us our color story. And our color story is made up of 8 different colors with accompanying hex codes. They are little 6-digit codes that we can use to put into our computer so that we can color match exactly. I want to show you real quick how I set up my colors. The first thing that I'm going to do is in the right-hand corner, click that little button because that's where our color swatches live. And we are going to create a brand new color palette. So you're going to click that plus button and you're going to click Create New Palette. From there, I want you to name your color palette. So we're naming our color palette here. It's the Flower Power Colors. And then we're going to actually need to go input our hex codes so that we can create the perfect color palette. So you're going to go to the bottom of your iPad and the right-hand side, and you're going to click where it says Value. And whenever that pops up, you're going to see the area where you can enter your hex code. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my first 6-digit hex code. I'm going to open the palette that right now is empty, and I'm going to tap my finger into that empty palette and voila! The color pink shows up in my color palette. I'm going to continue to do this for all 8 colors, and then just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and do the color white. So in case you don't know what that hex code is, white is always F, 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 F. Easy to remember, right? Once I have my color palette in place, it's time to move on to creating the artwork itself. So before I get too far ahead, I'm going to create several empty layers. And these empty layers are going to represent each color layer of my design. Now, I'm a huge proponent of designing with layers in mind. So kind of like how you would design for screen printing, where you're not putting all of your colors on the same screen, you have to separate out your colors. And the reason we do this is so that we can easily change our colors and try different combinations. So I'm creating some empty layers. What I like to do is take a photo of my thumbnail sketch of my hero design. Then I'm going to go ahead and import that photo that I took of the sketch. So once I have that sketch, I'm going to just place it. I'm going to rotate it, make sure it's centered and filling up a lot of the canvas. And I'm going to use it to trace. I'm going to use a brand new layer. I'm going to use a kohl brush that I have. It's one that I purchased. I'm going to start tracing out the design. And this is where we're just going to really define the full illustration. Don't worry about color right now. We're just making sure that the layout is exactly the way we want it to be. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit for you, and I'm going to show you what my tracing looked like once I readjusted everything and made it look really nice and pretty. And then from here, this is a time lapse to show you how I created the artwork and digitally colored it. So it's almost like using a coloring book, but each color was created on a completely different layer in Procreate. So I'm actually just coloring in the lines right here, but my intention is once I have everything colored to hide that original tracing, and I'm going to be left with my artwork. From here, I'm going to really shape it up. I'm going to erase things, put in some tiny details. I'm going to add a background color, which is that kind of light blue, and I'm going to put my daisies in there and they're white. From here, my artwork is looking pretty perky, and I love perky. I'm going to add some of my signature little details inside the center of some of my flowers. I love little details and I get away with them whenever I can. So this is just my tiny homage to make sure that it looks just like me, that I drew it. And because I know I'm working here with a mass retailer in mind, I'm definitely trying to keep this artwork approachable. I'm trying not to get too carried away with the little details and make it just really fun. Before we move on, I want to show you exactly what it looks like whenever I say every color is on a different layer. So each color is on its own layer. What that means is that I can hide things, I can unhide them, as you can see that I did with that tracing. I can also easily change colors. So let's say, for instance, I want to go in there and change my watering can. Well, all I have to do is select that layer, and I'm going to click Alpha Lock whenever I select that layer, and I'm going to fill that layer with a new color, which is the green. I think that's kind of cute, but that's not the color that I want for this illustration, so I'm going to undo that and put it right back to that beautiful turquoise color. That's why it's important to design in layers whenever you are creating, whether it's on Procreate or Adobe Illustrator. Working in layers really gives you a ton of flexibility, and it gives the manufacturer flexibility if they ever need to change colors. I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson. Go ahead right now and take a look at your thumbnail sketch and get to work and create your signature artwork.
Next week, we're going to make our first repeat pattern to accompany our Flower Power collection. Please let me know how it's going in the comments on this video. I'll see you next week. Bye!